There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks. This world is such a gimme, gimme, gimme.
More for themselves,
push,
less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
I want to thank every Amazon customer because you guys paid for all of this.
Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I got a good video for you today. Jordan Peterson talking about almost basically how much is too much money. And I'm going to piss a lot of people off in this video because I know a lot of people have a standard thinking about money and how we should think about money. Because it's easy to see the bottom because it's no money. But this open-ended wealth has caused a lot of problems. Let's roll into it.
If you tried as hard as you could in your entire life, there was no way that you could spend more than $400 million. And so let's say you have more money than that at your disposal. Well, hopefully you're going to do some halfway intelligent things with it. And hopefully you'd expect that the more intelligent people would do more than halfway intelligent things with it.
Welcome to Chartwell.
I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room?
You say to people that say, well, they earned it.
But even if you earned it, you still owe.
The pursuit of constant more by a lot of these companies is the reason for the separation between the wealthy and the poor. We're not just talking about how much money they have. We're talking about how much money that the wealthy actually pay themselves versus how much they pay the rest of us in percentage dollars.
A new analysis shows the richest Americans, the top 1%, made nearly 20% of all the available income in America last year.
And there is so much money and so much opportunity being taken away by so much money being stacked on a few people because of an open-ended idea that it won't take away incentive for that opportunity to be forced down. It's a capping that forces opportunity. And I'm not saying give to the poor. For those people who are so successful at doing this and making money that they can take other people and do that with those people. The structure in which we have will continue. It just will be capped at the top and at the bottom.
So if you have to have unequal distribution, then a meritocracy is probably the best way to do it. But it still leaves you with this terrible problem, which is, what do you do with all the people who stack up at zero?
Can you imagine somebody having $32 million and this person has nothing and you can sleep?
And the answer isn't have contempt for them because they don't work as hard as you. It's like, yeah, a bunch of them don't, because conscientiousness also predicts success. So among the poor, there are people who don't work.
I'm not saying that we should take the money from the rich and give to the poor. What I'm saying is let's think about a different idea, a different concept where people can only obtain so much wealth. Would the prices of companies or would the prices of things continue to go up all the time because companies and people and investors are constantly trying to make more and more and more and more money through the stock market and through investment and through all these things that are just huge? And how much more opportunity would force downward. And yeah, I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but it actually forces down. If we're capping the amount, it still allows for opportunity, but forces opportunity across the board and not just in a very limited way. Because as much as people think an open market is so great, we have controls and we have limits on it now. And all we need is a little bit more to force, again, opportunity across the board. Because if a company like Walmart has billions of dollars and has no limits on the amount of goods that they can buy, and then price down to absolutely nothing, which is pretty much what they do now, they cut out the opportunity of another person to be able to enter the market with a small business like it. And I know to some people it seems like having a Walmart and having these big conglomerate corporations is a good idea. And in some ways it is, but it really just funnels and limits opportunity to a handful of people who are involved and able to invest into these companies. And I'm not saying, again, that we should give down, but by capping, it forces opportunity across to more to reach the top. Even though it's a plateau, it's not a peak.
But you never want to underestimate the contribution of cognitive ability. So it's rough, man, and we don't take it seriously, and we don't know what to do about it. And it's clear that as inequality increases, societies destabilize. That's clear.
I think that's because the separation between the wealthy and the poor is unnoticed by the wealthy of how much damage they're doing to the poor. And what I mean by that is that the collection of dollars at the top limits the amount of dollars at the bottom for the poor to work with. And so what the poor and middle class would become, middle class become the poor as well, we start to develop other ways or go back to and shift back to a way of trading and bartering like we used to, instead of trading hours for dollars like we do now. It's a regression of our economic system because of the collection of all of the money at the top. And it's clear that that's, if you really look, that is what has happened every time throughout human history. Collection of wealth, collapse. There's less money for people to trade. They work out something else. It happens over and over and over and over again. There's only one economic system in the world, and I believe it's the Dutch, that has lasted 425 years. That means that every other economic system in the world has collapsed. That should be noticed. Instead of embrace this idea that we can just let open-ended wealth just continue on forever, when that is really the thing that's collapsed economies every time. And I leave room for maybe not every time, but the majority of times. You can't leave the poor with nothing to trade for and say just deal with it. They will just deal with it. And it'll be without those dollars anymore. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks to my subscribers. Thanks to my new subscribers. Anybody new between last video and now, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Later.